What's up, guys? Sort of a gloomy day here in New England, and I figured I could bring you somewhat of a tech video, or maybe a video with some insight. I'm really gracious because I get, I get asked a lot of questions, whether it be through Instagram direct message or email about tones and stuff like that, and it makes me feel great knowing that maybe somebody out there trusts in my ear or my opinion, and that's really all this is. All this stuff is with tone and all that. It's very opinionated, you know what I mean? Listening through an iPhone, listening off of YouTube, you're not getting the raw experience of being in the room with tones or feeling them, but face it, that's what we have to go off of, and that's what we do. A bit of questions about pickups. Knowing that I'm just a predominantly pre-Cbs kind of player. I have 3 old Strats that you saw in the beginning. 2 59s, one being a maple, one being a rosewood, and a 1960. And a lot of people ask, what's the closest pickup to a pre-Cbs? Or what pickup is going to give me this or give me that? Is even the old pickups, every one was wound differently, you know what I mean? Newer production pickups from bigger companies, big markets, they're kind of, blasted out. Everyone is pretty much uniform. They work the same way, and 9 times out of 10, you'll end up with the same kind of reading, the same specs, the same tone, the same reaction to the string. So I'd like to talk about a couple of things. First, I'm going to walk through the Strats. I'm going to show you a quick way to test pickups. It's not the perfect way, but we're not trying to get exact specs. Basically, what we're trying to do is get some numbers down to use as a reference for their output. That brings me to another thing. Everybody sees a pickup and they say, "Oh, this is 6.5K." All of that is telling you is the resistance. Okay, we measure resistance in ohms. So if you have like a multimeter, you set that up to ohms, and that's going to give you a reading. A hotter pickup or an overwound pickup in the 7K range, deep sixes, that's considered a hotter pickup. Those pickups are hotter, meaning they have more bite to it. When you incorporate that, you withdraw some of the low end and the mid frequencies out of the pickup, and you basically just get a stinging, sizzle tone. And that's by, that's just by design. There's going to be pickup experts that are watching this. They're going to probably rip it apart and tell me how wrong I am. But from a player's perspective, when you're plugging in and you're playing through an amp, I consider myself a guitar player. That's the synopsis I've come up with, and it's also it's pretty standard understanding that's what you're doing. You're really pulling a lot of the low end. You're pulling the mids out. Old Stratocaster pickups compared to the pickups of today, you'll find the large percentage of them underwound, and we're talking about low mid 5s to just tapping on the 6K, and that gives you that nice mellow bell tone you may hear in some people's descriptions of pickups. And even then, no 2 pickups will ever be the same, because I don't think that you can recreate it again. Parts, this is just some spare parts. This came out of a 59 Strat. It's a spare pickup I have, and I'll explain why I have this. So we hook this up to the multimeter, and we get ourselves a reading of, okay, so that pickup reads 6.2K, 6.25. Great for a bridge pickup. You want that in that rear position because it does have that little bit of a spank on it. Fender, just by coincidence, in my mind, always put the pickups in these guitars backwards. They seem to have put the hottest one in the neck position on the old Strats and the weakest one towards the bridge. And if that was only reversed, I think some of the Stratocaster tones you would have heard would have been a little more balanced. We all know the neck pickup is having that big, lush, mellow, juicy tone. And we know that the bridge is that spank when we want to cut through. We're all guilty of it. I know I am, of using the bridge to cut through something, to cut through the band, cut through loud tone, and it gives you that little bit of a push, but it also at times can give it to you with some thinness. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm a middle pickup fan. If I have a great wound middle pickup and I can pick near the bridge, that's where I'll stay there all night. I really appreciate that kind of sound that the middle pickup puts out, especially with some of the faster stuff, some of the SRV stuff, some of the Hendrix bends. If you listen to some of the live Red House recordings with Jimmy, he's sitting on that middle pickup all day because you can just hear it. It's once you get comfortable with the pickups and their characteristics, you can really hear that. So yeah, I'm just going to show you a quick way to test these pickups, and we can all get a general idea of what these guitars read. They're not everybody's guitars, but it's 3 examples of vintage Stratocasters, and it's a great reference point to talk about what I'm going to talk about. So let's dive in. All right, so a quick way to go about testing your pickups, or you wanted to get an idea of their windings. This is not a dead-on accurate reading to your pickup windings, only because we are putting some variables in between the pickup output and the multimeter. So all of these things that we do using a patch cable and some jumper leads, it's adding resistance. Now, very minor, but it's not giving you a 100% accurate number. I just wanted to make that clear before we went any further, before anybody, on the patch cable, just so we're clear, the tip is going to give you a positive reading, and the barrel here is going to give you the ground, the negative. Okay, so starting first with the 59 Strat, all the magic. We got 5-9-7. We go to the middle position. 5-8. We go to the bridge. 4-9-8. So somebody may see that and say, Nick, that pickup's dead, that pickup's weak. This pickup has the most character and cuts through like no other. It's a fat bridge pickup sound, which is something that Stratocasters have always lacked. I hunted down this spare pickup thinking that there was going to come a day where this pickup would just die, but it is held in, it's held its own. Now, another way to combat that problem if you have a little bit lower reading is you just adjust the pickup upward closer to the strings, and always I like to bring them up until the note starts to oscillate or warble while I'm listening to it, and then I just back it down until that note just goes away and gives me a clean, straight note. So there's an idea of the 59 Strat. Again, my #1 guitar. Obviously does not sound bad because it's my #1 guitar and I enjoy it. We'll move on to another and I'll show you the difference. Maple Neck Strat. Now this guitar, I did a video on, talked about it, purchased it last year. This guitar may or may not be for sale, and I'm still thinking it over. But this has, to my ear, the best well-balanced. Nothing is spiky, nothing is over, nothing is too much. It's not too necky, not too mid, not too bridge. It's a perfect balance, and I'll show you why. Mind you, the pickups made with this guitar and the previous guitar are only about a couple months separation. So we have 5-5-7 in the neck. Five, 5-4 in the middle. We got about 540 in the bridge. And you'll note that my bridge pickup is a hair higher than the rest. But from playing this guitar, I was able to determine that this guitar has a well-balanced set of pickups in it. And the voltmeter doesn't lie. Our tests don't lie. And there you go, that's proven. Okay, so now we come into the newest acquisition. I did a video on this guitar, and I actually, in the video, I touched base on, pickup windings and the misconception of the K, and you can hear that here. Like a 5.7K, 5.8K, and this bridge pickup actually reads 4.1K. Now, most people get confused and they think that that's the whole tone in the pickup, the K or the ohms, the resistance. But it's really not. It has a lot to do with the flat work. It has a lot to do with the way it was wound, the capacitance in the pickup, how the gauze or how its magnetic strength, that all has something to do with it. So, like I said, these pickups, they are on the lower output side. So, those are just some things that you don't want to get caught up on when you're looking for a pickup for your taste, So we got our volumes up. We're in the neck position. We got a reading of 523. 522, 523. Okay, nice and mellow in the neck position. As we move down to the middle, almost 6-0. Now, if you remember this video, this guitar had a swapped out mid pickup. Same vintage, same year, same style, but it was just a little different. And you could, it had a little bit of spike to it. It had some heat on it, and it's clearly evident. Go down to the bridge. 546. So extremely close to the neck here, and the middle is the star here. These three guitars, if I was into parting guitars out, you could build the ultimate set of pickups. But here's what I like to focus on. The great thing about these guitars is, when you have one that's working great and the electronics are working great and all your pots are at least 250K or better, meaning the resistance of the pot, there's no glitches in the pot or anything like that, pickups can really react to adjusting them. And I don't feel that a lot of people spend time adjusting pickups. We know that these bass strings are fatter, right? So we wouldn't want the pickup as close to that string when we adjust it up. But through the treble strings, we can bring that pickup up to get that note really responsive. So most of the pickups will end up sitting at an angle with the bass side being lower and the treble side being close. A trick to adjusting them, and Duke Robillard talked about this. So you fret, the low E and the high E on the last fret, and you look at your gap that you have, and you slowly bring that up in increments, and you can balance these out. You can play your neck, and you can say, okay, that's my bass tone. You click into the middle. Now this guitar would naturally be hot by design, so you would bring that down. Or if you want the neck to have a little more hit, you bring the neck up. The neck and the middle are matching. Then you go to the bridge pickup. If you look at a lot of Eric Johnson's guitars, Philip Sayce, Stevie's guitar, I see the bridge pickup always up a little more. And that's great because you want that sting. Not only that, you're getting, when you use the 2-4 position, now you're making that 2-4 position sound unique and sound like its own because you're making your own blend of, you're concocting your own little tone there with the way you adjust this. Because now, if you would adjust this middle pickup is going to be a little more stronger in those in-between positions, much like if you did it with the bridge. There's many pickup builders out there. For a cost-effective set of pickups, what I found sounds great is the Fender Fat 50s. They're about 120 bucks, and they're, cloth wiring, Formvar wire. They are lower wound and they have a fat, huge, clear tone. And that's the sound I'm going for because I want to hear what the pickup sounds like into the amp. You know what I mean? I don't want no bells and whistles. Texas Special pickups, extremely harsh, extremely dirty. Just not my thing. I like a pickup that's going to sound like a pickup, no added sizzle, no nothing. So a lot of factors regarding pickups that people don't look at. And it's the way this thing is wound. And the person that wound it, hand winding, scatter winding, all these different windings. You can see where this pickup in the middle here kind of impregnates towards the center and then comes back tight again up at the top. All those variables are going to change the way the pickup reacts, the way the pickup sounds. The flat work, the way the magnets are put in, the bevel on the magnet, the charge, the magnetic charge like I spoke about earlier in that past video. All of this stuff has an impact on the way the pickups react, the way the pickups act in the guitar, and what they're going to do when you adjust them to the way your guitar is set up into your strings. Just send a question and say, hey, what pickup should I get? It totally depends on your setup and what you're trying to hear. And 9 times out of 10, the pickups you're using, whether it's a custom shop set or, a Fender set or something like that, they're gonna have an already great sound. You know, it's that extra 10% that you're pushing for that you want to get. Spend some time and adjust the pickups. The great thing about it is it's reversible. If you don't like it, you just put it right back down. But that's a great way that I used to do it when if I started plugging straight into amps, I would bring the pickups up just till the notes started getting messed up on the tuner. You watch the strobe tuner and you can listen to it audibly, and it'll kind of warble, like it sound like it's out of intonation. And then you just bring it back till that warble goes away. And now you have, your attack is right there, and there's no latency, you know? Sometimes when playing with a fuzz face, I'll bring the pickups down. If I'm using a fuzz face for a while, I'll bring the pickups lower because the fuzz will bloom a little better, and that the notes will sing under those strings if the pickups are backed away a little bit. Enjoy the Fender Fat 50s for a cheap, walk in a Guitar Center, buy a set of pickups, put them in your guitar. With some setup work and some good pots, those pickups really, really work. When you start getting into the boutique area, Don MARE, I've been using Don. When I had custom shop Strats, all my custom shop Strats were outfitted with Don MARE pickups. His Formvar 50 set was by far the most classic, blackface plugged into a Strat plugged into a blackface tone. Incredible. Don is a great guy, and he'll talk to you on the phone, and he will help you find the pickup you want. For the Hendrix stuff, I really liked the Rumpelstiltskin. I think there was a set of pickups they had called the Experience set. Those were incredible. I put those in a black Strat I had, and it instantly, when I played the A from Are You Experienced, it was like hearing it. It was amazing. I really like that set. I wish I would have kept that set of pickups because they were really great. For newer pickups that have come out in the last couple of years, I mean, you got ROLPH, JM ROLPH. You have, Jesse Davies got his Bluebird pickups. They're great. Mark Foley's out there making pickups. Pickup company in Germany that my friend Dan Drive uses, KLOPPMANN. I mean, they're great pickups. You just have to find what works for you. To ask somebody else what they're using, it kind of takes the fun, it takes the research, and it takes the tone hunting out of it for yourself, because that's something that you want to be proud of, and you want to make. Once you get everything assembled and you get that guitar together and you get those pots working right and you find the right treble bleed and the right capacitor, I mean, you just built this machine that in any one of those positions, neck, middle, bridge, or the in-betweens, it's going to work for you. It's going to give you everything you want. So that's just something I want to chime in a little bit, because I do get a lot of questions about pickups, and I think it's great, and I try to help people as best I can. So find something that you like. Don't be afraid to ask people questions, because the worst thing that can happen, they can say, no, or they don't help you out. But again, look at specs and look at the old pickup specs, like right here. So you can use that as a guideline now. I mean, you have that spec sheet of what those old Stratocaster pickups were, and ask the builders, what are you using for this? What are you using for that? What magnets are you using? How are you winding it? What wire are you using? Don't be afraid, because the builders are into it just as much as you are. So they're going to help you, and they're going to assist you in finding the pickup that suits your tone, because at the end of the day, they want a happy customer. It helps business grow. But it's just something to look forward to. It's something to look into. It's something to research, and you can find your own tone in anything. You just got to search hard enough. And what you're using, I'd like to read in the comments what you guys are using as far as pickups, because if there's ever a time where I want to try something out and I can find a good deal, I will, because I'm always searching. Even though I have these, I had an old Strat not too long ago that I was playing for a while, and I just couldn't get the pickups to work, and then I swapped in a set of Bluebirds just to make sure it wasn't the guitar, because sometimes you can have a guitar that is just a dead piece of wood and it doesn't react, and no matter how many pickups you throw in it, it ain't gonna do anything for you, and I've seen that happen too. So I swapped in a set of Bluebirds on this old Strat I had, and the Strat came to life. So I was able to say, these pickups are a little muddy. Now, something like that, you would probably put in a maple neck guitar, because a maple neck is just going to have that natural brightness, that pop. The rosewood can make pickups a little darker as it is. I'm going to take this this low wound 59 Strat, this horrible 49K bridge pickup. I'm going to practice some Albert King licks today. And yeah, there's a little video on pickups. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy tone hunting. I hope you can apply this in your pursuit of your own tone. And yeah, you know, I want to thank all the subscribers. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't. If you like these kind of videos regarding vintage guitars, vintage amps, tone talk, lick lessons, you know, I do a lot of Stevie Ray stuff, a lot of Hendrix stuff, but I'm always willing to push it harder. If there's something you want to see, I'd be happy to talk about it or try to demonstrate it. But yeah, I just appreciate all the likes, the comments. Leave them down below. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you guys enough. This YouTube channel has been a lot of fun. It's grown in the last 6 months, and I'm really happy. So thank you guys, and have a great week. Peace.